Welcome to the Golden State Media Concepts Life and Happiness Podcast, the show that takes you on a journey of exploration. We'll discuss tried and true methods alongside the latest trends of how to best live your life to its fullest and happiest. From psychology to meditation, science to self-help books, the GSMC Life and Happiness Podcast will help you to discover what makes you happy and how you can live life being the best you possible.
Welcome to GSMC Life and Happiness Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I am your host, Alyssa Jo. Hello, everybody. How is it going today? I hope you're having a wonderful day so far. My day has been so good. I'm feeling a little tired today, but I took an afternoon nap. I have to say, you are never going to be too old for naps. I am not that old, but for so long, I felt like I couldn't nap during the day because I just thought it was weird. But now I love my naps. I am the queen of power naps. So I hope today that you got to take a nap if you needed a nap, because I took quite a long nap today and it really re-energized me, and now I am ready to be sharing another episode with you guys on how to live your life to the happiest and the fullest. So I hope you were happy today, and I hope you took a nap if you needed one. I hope you're feeling good and positive and ready to reach all of your goals and go after the things that you want. I am back with more information to share with you on how to do that with your life, how to live it to the fullest and the happiest. And if there is one thing that I have always been in my life, that is organized. I love being organized. I go a little bit crazy if I'm not organized, and it just keeps my mind in order. I got a lot of stuff running through my mind all the time, and if I don't organize my life, I feel like a complete disaster. So today I want to talk to you about organizing your life, and today's going to be like a general organizational episode. We'll talk about lots of different aspects of your life, from, your materialistic things to your thoughts, to your goals, to your money, organizing all those aspects of your life. And then if you guys like today's episode, I will definitely go into more depth of how to organize certain aspects then. So like organizing your thoughts, organizing your money. I could do a whole episode on that. I also love being able to organize and budget my money. So I could talk to you guys about that. We could talk about organizing materialistic things, clothes, things in your house. But today I just want to do like a general aspect of organization, because when we are not organized in our life, we feel a little bit off edge. And I know it's not just me. I know everybody, like, say you look into your closet, you open up the closet doors, and things are everywhere. You got clothes on the ground, you got shoes mixed matched, you got things everywhere. And you open that up, doesn't that just give you a little bit of that sense of anxiety inside of you, like, oh, I got to do this. And it's just another thing you have to add to your to-do list. And I find that if we don't stay on track with the things that we organize in our lives, well, it's kind of hard to feel like you are staying sane. And then those things just add on to your to-do list over and over and over again. And we keep pushing them to the side, and then things get more unorganized. And then you're kind of down this rabbit hole of very disorganized lifestyle. And it's just not good for your mental health, for your physical health, because those are things that if we just stay on top of it, if we stay on top of our organized life, like our materialistic things and our money and our thoughts and our priorities, our goals, then things just start to align better, and we don't have to add those things on to our to-do list. We can just go through our day and kind of gain those habits of organization. So today's episode is going to be all about kind of implementing those healthy organizational habits into your life, the things that you can do to make you feel more organized, to make you feel more on track with things. Because it's so important, and it's more important than you think. I know not everyone's like me that feels completely out of order if their life is out of order. Like, for me, I gotta have everything organized, everything in a place. I gotta write my to-do list, and then I feel really good. But if it's not, all organized and stuff, I feel like my life is a little bit chaotic. And maybe I'm just a little over dramatic compared to some people when it comes to organization, but I know it affects everybody in a certain way, more than you think it affects you. It's not just about adding to your to-do list, but it's always kind of in the back of your mind. If you leave your house and it's all messy, well, you're going to have that in the back of your head that, okay, I got to do that when I get home, and you got to do that when you get home, and it's just kind of draining to always have these things in the back of your head when you could be focusing on more important things, like reaching your goals and staying healthy and making living your life to the fullest and making sure that you're happy. And so I think staying organized is such a huge thing in our overall happiness and overall well-being. It adds so much I think clarity to our life. So I'm going to try to share some organization skills that I implement into my life. They might be a little far-fetched for some people, but I'm going to share some of the things I do. Just some basic things to keep your life organized in all different aspects of your life so that you can hopefully apply these healthy habits, make it a routine for you, make these healthy habits actual habits so that you just stop having to add these organizational duties to your to-do list and it's just a part of your life. If you add kind of organization to part of one of your qualities, it is so crucial. It can help so much. It can relieve so much stress off of you. So I'm going to stop rambling on about how great it is to be organized, and let's start talking about how to get organized. I don't even know where to start. So let's start with, I guess, materialistic things of being organized in your life. Like I said, if your house is all messy and you're out for the day and it's in the back of your head, you got to go home and clean your house. It's just one of those things that kind of just adds on to your day. No one wants to be thinking about how they have to go vacuum their house at the end of the day. So my biggest piece of advice for staying organized on the cleanliness sides of things, the materialistic sides of things, is just by keeping a schedule. And this is a general tip for all aspects of your life when it comes to organization, keeping a schedule for things. So keeping a cleaning schedule, keeping, a schedule, maybe even a daily schedule, a weekly schedule, a monthly schedule. Some people have a 6-month schedule of things that they need to do around their house every 6 months or even every year, change certain filters or something. I don't know. I don't own a house, but I'm sure that there's lots of things you got to do once a year or twice a year. And having this set schedule for yourself can make a huge difference. And so write your schedule, make a schedule, and place it somewhere where you're always going to be reminded of it. Put it on your fridge. Make it nice. Laminate it. Maybe you're not as crazy as I am when it comes to organizational stuff, but I like to write my stuff down, handwritten, but really nicely on a nice piece of paper. Sometimes I'll write it down kind of chicken scratch really quickly, get all my ideas down, and then I'll actually write it down really neatly, put it on a nice piece of paper, and pin it on my wall or pin it somewhere where I'm going to be reminded of it every single day so that I stay on track with my goals. Especially if you're living with roommates, or you're living with your family inside of your house, and there's lots of things going on all the time, keeping a schedule can really help keep your household organized. And when your household is organized and clean, you just feel better. I promise you. Even though you don't think it doesn't bother you that much, it does bother you that much because we can think a lot more clearly if things are neat around us. That is a fact. You're going to have less distractions, especially right now. If you're working from home due to COVID-19 and your house is not organized, you're not going to have an easier time staying focused. It's like, I talk a lot about making sure that you kind of put your distractions away, put your cell phone away, put it across the room, make sure you have no distractions at all. But dirtiness and unorganization is also extremely distracting. If you're working at your desk, even your home desk or your office desk, and things are cluttered everywhere, it just makes it seem like your to-do list is so much longer than it actually is. So make sure that you're organizing your workspace. Put things in order. You don't have to go as crazy as I do. You don't have to alphabet or color code everything, even though I do highly suggest that. But if you don't want to go that far-fetched, just make sure things have a place. And organization is kind of different for everybody. Some people like their papers stacked a certain way or in different folders or all these different types of ways. Figure out what works for you. Like anything that I talk about in this podcast, you got to figure out how it tailors to you and the way that you can make sure that it's organized for your lifestyle because it's going to be different for everybody. But my biggest tip to stay organized at home is just by making that routine, making that schedule every single day. Make sure that you make your bed. That is my first and biggest tip to feeling organized at home, is making your bed. I know it sounds small, it sounds stupid, but it just makes a huge difference in your mindset. You wake up, you make sure your bed's made, and you just feel organized, and you feel like you're going to have a good day because you already did something productive. You got up and you made your bed. And isn't it the best feeling to come home at the end of the day and everything just like be in a perfect place? Like for me, I love coming home and everything just being fully organized. And I am such the type that I lay out my clothes the night before. I organize what I'm doing. If I'm going to the gym in the morning, got my gym clothes, and I got my day clothes, and I have all my makeup lined out, and I go a little bit overboard. But I like having everything set the way it is, and that works for my lifestyle because I like to just get up, have everything right in front of me, and I'm ready to go because it makes me as productive as possible. There is no worse feeling than coming home after a long day and feeling like I need to clean up or organize my life for the next day. I always feel like I need to organize things for I'm one step ahead. And when you feel like you're one step ahead in your organization, you feel a weight lifted off your shoulder. It's just, you don't have to add it to your to-do list. It's just done. It's there. Okay, so it is time for a little bit of a break, but don't go anywhere because when we get back, I'm going to jump into some more specific things of how to organize your household, what works for you, how to organize your thoughts and things that are going in your head, how to organize your money and passwords and all those types of things. So don't go anywhere. I got lots of information to share with you today.
Are you tired of the same old news? Are you sick of the seemingly endless political spin and negativity? The GSMC America's Still Beautiful podcast is a weekly news podcast covering all the top positive and uplifting news stories. We cover stories that will inspire, uplift, and remind you of the good in the world. Tune into the Golden State Media Concepts America's Still Beautiful podcast to get all the great and positive news stories of today. Download the GSMC America's Still Beautiful podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Play, or anywhere you find podcasts. Just type GSMC in the search bar.
Welcome back to GSMC Life and Happiness Podcast. Hello, hello. In case you forgot, my name's Alyssa Jo. I am your host, and I am here to help you live your life to the fullest and the happiest with all tips and tricks and things that you can do to make sure that you're reaching your goals, going after what you want, and making the most out of your life. Life is short, so let's make the most out of it. Let's live our life to the happiest and the fullest. Today we're talking about organization and how organization can help your overall mental health, your overall well-being, and staying focused on your goals and your happiness. So back to talking about household items. The first thing that I think about when I think about organization, I think, is my closet. Because I got a lot of clothes, I like to organize my stuff, and I feel like organizing your closet can be really difficult. Some people are so particular. Some people are, I got tank tops here, and I got t-shirts here, and I got shorts here, and jeans here, and sweatpants here, and organize. And it's the way you fold things and the way you do things. Me, I'm a little far-fetched. I color code everything that I hang on my hangers, and I like to color code all my stuff. And then when it comes to the things that I fold, they're all placed a certain way. People may say I have a little bit of OCD. OCPD. So it's personality disorder, not full-on OCD, but I have a personality trait that makes me a little bit OCD. That's what OCPD means. So I like to have everything color-coded and in a certain spot. That's the way that I function. And when I come home and I do laundry, the way that I do my laundry, I start folding my clothes and I put it in sections. And so I organize it before I even put it in hangers or start folding them. I already have my t-shirts here, this color there, and that's how I do my thing. So when you are organizing your closet, my tip for you is to color code things and to put them in sections. And I'm a little far-fetched. I color code certain sections. So I color code my t-shirts, color code my tank tops, color code all these different things so that I go by category, but I also go by color. I know, it's a little extra, it's a little far-fetched, you don't have to do that. This is how my brain works, because when I wake up in the morning, or the night before, I usually plan my clothes, what I'm going to wear the next day, the night before. I look at the weather and I say, okay, what am I going to wear? What's the weather going to be like? Okay, I want to wear a tank top and I want to wear shorts tomorrow. I know right away, I go right to the section of my closet, has my tank top. Ooh, I'm feeling extra tan today. I'm going to wear something white. And then I'll go to my shorts and I'll pick through. And it just, for me, it makes things so much easier. I can plan my outfits, I can plan what I'm wearing, because everything is color-coded and organized. Instead of flipping through all these different clothes hanging up or scavenging through all these different piles of things, I literally just get up, look in my closet. Yep, there's a tank top. Yep, there's a pair of shorts, and I'm good to go. This is how my brain works. I put my workout clothes, I put my jeans, and all those things organized. The way that I do this just helps my sanity. You don't always have to do it that way, but for me, it works. And maybe some people like to organize by season or like to organize by different areas that way. Find what works for you. For me, my biggest tip is color coding and by category as well. So tank top, t-shirts, jeans, shorts, all those different things. Find out what works for you. Then we're also talking about other household things like your blankets, your towels, things like that. Have your certain section, have your certain spot for things. And whether you have a big house or a small house or you're just organizing your bedroom, make sure that everything has a place. I think that is huge. Everything has a certain place. If you have all your electronics or all your cords, make sure they all go in one spot. This is the easiest way to stay organized and that you're not going to lose everything. So if you're looking for a certain charger, you already know it's in this little box that has all your other chargers in it. You're not scavenging for certain different things. It's just right there. You know what box it's in. So make sure that everything has a certain place. My biggest tip, too, for staying organized when it comes to clothes and materialistic things is also just, if you're going to buy something new, try to get rid of something old. Try to donate something. Go through your clothes, go through your bags of certain things and get rid of a bunch of things, and then go to the mall and buy a couple new things. This way your closet isn't going to add up. You're not going to be trying to squeeze all these different things on hangers and fold all these giant piles of clothes. I bet you there's things in your closet that you don't wear or that you haven't worn in a long time. I am the worst for this. I always look at my closet as like, if I'm going through things, I'm like, oh yeah, but what if I need that one day? Oh yeah, but what if I need that one day? Oh, what about this? That could come in handy at this time. But now my new rule is that if I haven't worn it in 6 months, it goes. Okay, I shouldn't say that. If I haven't worn it in a year, it goes, because different seasons and stuff, if I have warm sweaters that I wear around Christmas that I obviously don't wear around summertime, it's different. But figure out what works for you. For me, usually it's about 6 months. If I know I haven't worn it within that season or that time frame, it's got to go. And I have to let go of things that I feel like I'm going to miss at the time, but really you just forget about them because you never wore them anyways. So try to get rid of something if you're buying something new, and this is going to stop you from cluttering up your closet. Now, that being said, declutter everything that you can as soon as you can. Don't keep clutter around. Clutter is the worst distraction there is. Make sure that you declutter everything. Have a clean workspace. Have a clean living space. Make sure your bed is made and things are organized, because when things are decluttered, your brain can just focus on the task at hand. It's not focusing on all the other things you still have to do, because our brain is going to look at our environment and it automatically associates our emotions with our environment. If your environment is always cluttered and dirty and messy, your brain and your emotions are going to be dirty, cluttered, and messy as well. You might feel more anxiety, stressed out. Maybe you might feel more depressed, or like all these different emotions could come up, that instead of feeling motivated or determined or organized, you feel all these negative emotions because your life is just a little bit cluttered. So declutter every single chance you get. Make it a routine. Make it in the morning. Declutter before you leave, or at night. Declutter at night so that you're organized that way. For me too, I just make it a part of my nightly routine. I have a list of things that I do for my nightly routine. For me, I wash my face, take off all my makeup, do all that kind of stuff. But then in addition to my nightly routine that way, I have a nightly routine of organization. I make sure that my clothes are ready for the next day, my gym clothes and my day clothes. And then I make sure that, I plan out what my meal is going to be. What's my breakfast going to be? What's my lunch going to be? What's my dinner going to be? I think of it in my head already so that I'm not reaching for some crappy, sugary food when I'm starving and I can't think of what I want to eat. I usually do meal prepping. That keeps me organized for my meals as well. But if you're not a meal prepper, just have it in your head, what am I going to make? If you feel like, okay, tomorrow I'm going to make tacos. I'm going to make tacos for dinner. So then you know in your head, okay, after work I got to stop at the store and make sure I have everything for my tacos. This way you're organized, you're not thinking about anything else. It's just you can go to the store, grab what you need, and go home. Or you look in your pantry and figure out what you have, and that's where you're going to eat the next day. This is going to save you time. This is going to make you more efficient. It's going to make you feel more motivated and determined also to eat healthy. If you can meal prep, do that. For me, I have usually my Sundays. It's my organizational day. Sundays are my favorite day of the week. Sundays and Mondays. Sundays are my favorite day because I get to relax and I get to organize all in one day. I'm a little weird, I know. But Mondays are really great because I get to start out my week positive and I get to start it out. I like starting out my week super organized and super motivated because it sets me up for a great week. So Sundays are my day. I do my meal prepping. I do my laundry. I do all my housework, all those things that I need to do so that I can set myself up to focus on other things during the week. When you organize your household belongings and materialistic things, it allows you for more time to focus on your goals and being goal-orientated and going after the things that you want to achieve. It allows you to focus on your happiness. It allows you to fulfill your life with more fun things. And it allows you to, go out and socialize and have fun with your friends because you're not thinking, I gotta go home and clean the floors. Everything's just done. You're already organized and planned out. Now, not everybody's perfect. I know not every single night you can lay out your clothes and organize your meals. Don't get me wrong. As much as I am like a full-on organizational freak, I still don't do it every single night. I can't say that. That would be a lie if I said I did it every single night. I do it majority of the nights, but don't get me wrong. If I come home after a long day and I just want to crash or I just don't feel good, I'm like, I just want to lay down. Don't get me wrong. I'll do that. But then I put it into my mind, okay, I'm going to wake up 15 minutes earlier tomorrow so I can get up and feel organized for my day anyways. I just like doing it at night because I like to have a more lenient morning. That's just how I work. I like to wake up early still in the morning, but I like to do what I want in the morning. I like to have a nice breakfast, enjoy my coffee, maybe get some things done if I need to. But if I'm organized the night before, it just allows me to have a more relaxed morning and then it sets me up for a good day. That's how my mind works. Figure out how it works for you and go with that. So when it comes to organizing your household and materialistic things, make a schedule, put that schedule somewhere where you're going to be reminded of every single day, and organize it by days of the week. For me, that's my Sunday. My Sunday is my organizational day. I make sure I do my meal prepping, make sure I organize my clothes, my laundry, I set myself up. And then I add to my nightly routine, okay, lay out my clothes, what am I going to eat tomorrow, what's my plan tomorrow, lay everything out for myself. And there you go. Especially if you have a jam-packed schedule, laying everything out for yourself, it's going to save you so much time. So find out what works for you. Also, remember, if you're going to buy new things, throw away old things that you don't wear or that you don't use. I promise if you haven't used them in 6 months, you're not going to miss them. So just chuck them or give them away. Sorry, don't throw them out. Give them away if you can give them away to somebody. Give it away to an organization, a nonprofit, or some kind of donation or anything like that. Help a friend out. Give them some new clothes. To them, they're brand new. To you, you just haven't worn them in 6 months. Someone's trash is someone else's treasure. So, take your stuff that you don't use and give it away. And you're going to feel good, and you're also going to make sure that you're decluttering everything around you. Make sure you have a clean workspace so that your mind only needs to focus on the task at hand that's in front of you. Remember, our emotions are automatically associated with our environments. If you have a cluttery, messy environment, your emotions are not going to be all positive because of that. So always think what your environment looks like and stay organized so you can be as efficient as possible. Now, it's time for another break, but when we get back, don't go anywhere because I'm going to be talking about ways to organize your thoughts and the things that are going through your brain, and then I'll talk about how to organize your money a little bit as well. So stay tuned. I will be right back.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
Welcome back to GSMC Life and Happiness Podcast. Hello, hello. We are in the last stretch of today's episode. My name's Alyssa Jo. We're talking all about being organized so you can live your life to the happiest and the fullest. Now, we talked about organizing your materialistic things, your household goods, all that kind of stuff, and what that does for your mindset. Now let's talk about your mind. Let's talk about organizing those thoughts. I know it better than anyone that I gotta organize my thoughts to really stay focused and stay clear and keep my anxiety down and just keep on track with my goals. If I notice that if I have a lot going on in my head and I do not organize those thoughts, I will go a little bit crazy and life just takes me down a different path that I do not want to go down. So I always need to make sure that I'm staying organized with my thoughts. This is huge for me, so I know it's going to be huge for a lot of other people too. So I really hope that these tips help you. Now, my biggest thing that I do is I write literally every single thing down physically. Write it down. Do not count on your memory, first of all, to remember things. Sounds funny. Do not count on your memory to remember things, but do not count on yourself to remember the things that you need to remember because we're human. We forget things. Write things down. I keep little journals, little notebooks with me constantly all the time because I like to physically write things down. I always have a pen and a paper. I always have a pencil and a paper. I don't know what it is. I just like pencil instead of pen. Another weird thing I think it's my OCPD maybe. I don't know, but I have to have a pencil and a piece of paper. So I always have my little notebooks down because I want to write down things that I need to remember, things that I'm thinking, ideas that come up. I have a lot of times where I'll just be walking or like I'm at like a meeting or I'm talking to a friend or something and all of a sudden an idea pops in my head. And I know that if I don't write it down in that moment, it'll never come back to me. Or it'll never come back to me the same way. So write every single thing down. Now, this is your thoughts, this is your ideas, things that come to your head, things that you need to remember. Write everything down because just don't rely on your memory for those things. Now, also make backups of everything that you do. If you are somebody that works online, and you need to make sure that you have everything backed up. This for me goes for my things that I write down as well. Like I always have my physical thing, but sometimes I write things down on my phone again and I make backups of the things that I write down, especially if they're really important. If I have an idea list, I have an idea list on my phone. Sometimes I don't have, sometimes I can't just write things down. Sometimes I'm on my phone already, so I'll write my ideas on my phone or write them on a piece of paper. But I always have them in two different areas. I usually have them on a piece of paper and I have them on my phone, or I have them on my laptop, and I have a mass list of my creative ideas, and I back that up because there's nothing worse than writing down your thoughts, writing down your ideas, and then losing that stuff. So always make sure that you have a backup for every single thing that you write down. And writing these things down is so, so helpful. So tonight I was talking to a friend and he reminded me of this organizational tip that I actually took from him that was really, really beneficial for my life. And he gets the same way. His brain gets all cluttered with lots of different ideas and things that he needs to do, his to-do list and all this stuff. And he writes it down on sticky notes. And I started doing this and it's really changed my life in the way that I declutter my mind. There's something about sticky notes. First of all, I use color-coded ones because my brain works in colors, I think, as well. I like to color code everything that I'm doing. But I have all my different colors of sticky notes. And when you have an idea, or you have things that need to be done, especially if you have like a million things that you need to do, this is super beneficial, this tip. So grab a sticky notepad or multiple ones if you're like me, and start writing down single things that you need to do on these sticky notes. One sticky note, write it down, put it on your wall. One sticky note, write it down, put it on your wall. One sticky note, write it down, put it on your wall. All these single ideas, okay? So then you have, and I like to put them on my wall. I got this from him as well. He clutters his wall. I shouldn't say clutter, but he puts all these notes all over his wall, and it's all his different ideas or the things that he needs to do. And there's kind of no organization to it quite at the beginning. It's just all the things you need to do. And it helps by writing them singly on a sticky note. Okay, so then once you feel like you've written down every single thing that you need to do on these sticky notes, then you can start organizing them. For me, I start organizing them in color and in category of my different to-do list for different categories. And this way is super beneficial because it allows your brain to only focus on one task at hand. If you have a huge to-do list for your day, and say that you write down, 20 things on a piece of paper that you need to do. Okay, that's great that you're making the step to write down that to-do list, but every single time you look at that to-do list, your brain is looking at all the other things as well, not just the one at the top. Your brain is looking at all the other 19 different things that you have to do, and your brain is going, oh my gosh, look at all these things. And then it gets you less motivated, it's overwhelming, you feel more stressed out. But if you have single sticky notes, then your brain is only going to focus on that one sticky note. So for me, if you need to put them all over the wall, that works for me to just get things organized, and then I can break it down going by one sticky note, one sticky note, one sticky note. But you don't have to put them all over your wall. You can just write your to-do list on sticky notes, and then you grab that sticky note and you put it in front of you. The first thing you need to do. Prioritize your to-do list, but that's pretty straightforward. Make sure you prioritize the most important thing you need to do and do it first. So you write down your single sticky note, you put it in front of you. Okay, so now your brain is only looking at that one task. You do that task, you crumple the sticky note, and you throw it away. You grab the next sticky note. Okay, now your brain is looking at that one task. Do that task, crumple the sticky note, put it away, and move on to the next. This way your brain is not looking at your giant to-do list, and it's just looking at one single thing. You're going to feel less stressed and less overwhelmed. I promise you. It is huge. So create a list on your sticky notes. Super beneficial. When it comes to organizing passwords and things like that, I also like to make sure I have backups of these things. I write my list down of different passwords. I have a list in my phone that's in a locked note. I also have a physical list that I have written down. That is the best way to keep your passwords organized and make sure that they're safe. I keep mine in a little book that I have more important documents in and stuff. And then I also have a list of them on my phone that's in a locked note. So do what works for you, but that's the best way to organize your passwords. Also making sure that you are, when it comes to organizing different tasks and stuff, if you're not like a paper person, there's so many different apps that you can get on your phone that are super beneficial to staying organized. Like, there's just management apps on your smartphones that there's to-do lists, there's grocery lists, there's all those different types of things that you can organize right on your phone. So if you're a real techie person, you don't really like to write things down physically, go look at all the apps. There's so many free ones that are super, super beneficial. So find what works for you. If those sticky notes thing sounds kind of weird, there's apps it'll show you only one thing to do on your to-do list, and then they'll show you the next thing and the next thing. You just have to remember not to overwhelm your brain by looking at this giant to-do list and your giant thoughts. So then when it comes to organizing your thoughts and decluttering those things, I don't just use the sticky notes for my to-do list, but I will also use them for my thoughts as well. But I've mentioned this a million times, probably every single episode. Write things down in your journal. Do self-reflection, because the more times that you write your thoughts down and the way that you're feeling on a piece of paper, or you type it out, whatever works for you, you're giving yourself this release. You're releasing yourself of these things that you maybe are bottling up. When you write your stuff down in a journal or you type it out, you're releasing those things and you're actually dealing with those emotions and those thoughts right in front of you. And it might just seem so silly to write a couple paragraphs down in your journal, but seriously, it makes a huge difference in how cluttered your brain can feel. So if there's something that's been bothering you or something that you're thinking about a lot, start writing them down. Start doing more journal entries. Start physicalizing those thoughts. Like, that's the best way that you can organize your thoughts, is by making them physical, making them visible in front of you so that you see them on a piece of paper, or you see them on your phone screen or your laptop screen, and you see them and you go, oh, okay. And that just decompresses you. It's basically taking out all that clutter inside of your brain and inside your head, and it's allowing you to think of healthier things now. It's allowing you to make a plan, an action plan too. Sometimes we have to write down those thoughts so that we can kind of start thinking more realistically or rationally. A lot of those irrational thoughts that we get when we're anxious or we're stressed out, we got to organize those so that we can think rationally. So writing things down is huge. For me, sticky notes and journals. And I have specific journals for specific things. Like I said, I'm overboard. You don't need to have specific journals for every single thing you need to do. That's just how my brain works. But figure out what works for you. Write things down and focus on one task at a time. That is the best way to organize your to-do list and the best way to organize your thoughts. Now, when it comes to money, I just want to touch on this briefly. Like I said, I could do a whole episode on organizing your money. But make sure that you have your separate accounts in your bank, your checkings, your savings. Maybe you have 2 different savings accounts, your credit card, whatever it is, and really start to organize those things. I bought a budget book so that I write down every single thing that I spend. And I do this so that I can track what I'm doing and where I'm spending so that I can budget accordingly to my lifestyle at that time, because my budget changes often, right? Because I'm doing different stages at different stages in my life and doing different things. So try to get a budget book. Try to write things down. If you don't want to just go buy a budget book, just grab another piece of paper and just write things down that you buy. Now, that's the first step to organizing your money, because if you can kind of track your progress, I suggest doing this for a month at least. Write every single thing you buy down. And for the day, write your total and put it in sections. For me, I always put, bills and then spending and food or whatever it is. I put my stuff in categories. And then at the end of the month, look at all the things that you spend. Look at what you spend your money most on. Maybe you buy Starbucks a lot. I am guilty of that. I love my Starbucks coffee. So I realize that I spend more money on Starbucks and that kind of spending in different aspects of my life. So I always look back at your progress, look back at your month, and see where you spend things. This is the best way to organize your money because you can actually physically see where you spend your money. And when you physically see where you're spending it, it allows you to make that budget organized appropriately to your lifestyle at the time. And this changes. If you get a new job, if you're going into a different career path or a different aspect of your life, your budget's going to change. Your money organization will change. So you always have to tailor it to what you're doing exactly. Taking out cash is another really great way that you can stay organized with your money, because with tap these days, we tap our cards and we don't even think about it. We tap our card, we don't even think about it. But if you literally just if you take out money, you take out your spending money, say you want to take out $100 for 2 weeks, then you can only use cash for spending, then you're a lot more aware of what you're spending it on, and you're going to stay more organized with your money because you say, okay, I only have $100 cash to spend for 2 weeks. And once you run that money out, that's it, right? It's no more tapping your card and barely noticing the amount that you're purchasing. Take out cash to keep your money organized as well. Like I said, all these tips you got to tailor towards yourself and what works best for you, but these are things that work best for me. So I hope this was helpful. Thank you so much for listening to GSMC Life and Happiness Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I am your host, Alyssa Jo. You know how much I love being here. Thank you so much for being here. Please do not forget to hit that subscribe button. I have new episodes out for you every single Monday and Thursday. So hit that subscribe button so that you're notified when you can hear me talk again for 30 minutes. Do not forget to head over to our social media channels. We got Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. I update those regularly. Push that like button and that follow button. It goes a long way for me. As well, do not forget to leave a 5-star review because I love reading them and it helps out a ton. So thank you so much for being here. Stay positive, stay happy, and organize your life. Take care. Thank you.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Life and Happiness Podcast, part of the GSMC Podcast Network. You can find the show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcasts on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Play, or anywhere you find podcasts. Just type in GSMC to find all of our shows. From the GSMC Podcast Network, from sex and relationships to health and wellness, life and happiness, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's episode of the Golden State Media Concepts Life and Happiness Podcast.